You are staring at your investment account screen right now. The balance finally reads $100,000. For the first time in your life, you feel like you have actually accomplished something significant. Six figures is a major milestone that many people never reach. You might have done the mental math already while sitting at your kitchen table. If $1 million is the ultimate goal, you feel like you are only 10% of the way there. You think about how many years of sacrifice it took to save this first amount. If it took you a decade to get here, your brain tells you it will take 9 more decades to finish. That thought is enough to make anyone feel defeated before they truly begin. But here is the secret that the financial industry rarely explains clearly to you. Your intuition about how wealth builds is almost certainly wrong. You are not 10% of the way to becoming a millionaire. In reality, you are much further along than you could ever imagine. The reason involves a force so powerful that it defies our daily logic. Most people quit their journey right before this force starts working in their favor. Today, we are going to look at the cold and hard truth about the math of money. We are going to explore the 3 specific tipping points where everything changes. By the end of this, you will understand why that first $100,000 is the hardest. You will see exactly why your future is brighter than the numbers on your screen suggest. Let us begin by talking about why your brain is setting you up for disappointment. We live in a linear world where effort and reward usually go hand in hand. If you work 1 hour, you expect to get paid for exactly 1 hour of your time. If you drive 60 miles per hour for 2 hours, you know you will travel 120 miles. Everything in our daily experience operates in these straight lines. Our survival as humans depended on understanding these simple relationships for thousands of years. So when you start investing, your brain naturally assumes the same linear rules apply. You save $500 a month and expect your account to grow by that exact amount. After 1 year, you have $6,000 plus a tiny bit of interest. After 2 years, you have maybe $12,000 and change. The progress feels painfully slow and the rewards feel almost invisible. This is the psychological trap that destroys the dreams of millions of people. Compound interest does not work in a straight line like a paycheck does. It works on an exponential curve that starts out almost flat for a very long time. Exponential growth is something that humans are spectacularly bad at understanding intuitively. We can calculate it on a piece of paper, but we cannot feel it in our gut. The early years of your journey feel like you are making no progress at all. This is exactly because the compounding effect has not had time to build on itself yet. You are currently pushing a massive boulder up the steepest part of the hill. It feels heavy because you are doing 100% of the heavy lifting. But the hill does not stay steep forever. Let us look at the actual numbers to see how this transition happens. Imagine you are investing $500 every month into a basic index fund. You expect a standard 7% annual return, which is consistent with history. In your first year, you contribute $6,000 of your hard-earned money. At the end of that year, you might have $6,200. Your investment returns only added $200 to the total. Meanwhile, your neighbor just bought a brand new truck and seems to be doing fine. You feel the sting of sacrifice while the reward feels like a tiny bonus. By year 5, you have contributed $30,000 total from your paychecks. Your account balance sits around $36,000. You have earned about $6,000 from the market over those 5 years. This is better than nothing, but you are still doing the vast majority of the work. Your contributions are the dominant factor in your account growth. By year 8, you have put in $48,000 of your own money. Your balance is now $65,000. You have earned $17,000 from growth, but it still feels like a slow crawl. You look at these numbers and think you will be 90 years old before you are wealthy. But then something very strange starts to shift in the mathematics. By year 10, you have contributed $60,000 in total. Your account balance has climbed to $87,000. You have earned $27,000 from compound returns alone. That is nearly half of what you personally put in over a decade. The balance of power is finally starting to tilt toward your money. By year 12, your total contributions are $72,000. Your account balance has reached approximately $113,000. You have earned $41,000 just from letting your money sit there. For the first time, the growth from compounding is starting to rival your annual deposits. This brings us to the first critical tipping point, which is the $100,000 mark. This is where the theory of compound interest finally becomes a reality you can feel. $100,000 is the point where your snowball reaches critical mass. At a 7% return, this portfolio generates $7,000 in growth per year. That is more than an entire year of your $500 monthly contributions. For the first time, your money is working harder than you are. Actually, it is working much harder because it never sleeps and never gets sick. This is the stage where people usually make one of two massive mistakes. The first mistake is seeing that six-figure balance and thinking they have made it. They ease off the gas and stop contributing because they feel comfortable. They do not realize they have just built the launch pad but have not launched the rocket yet. The second mistake is assuming the next $100,000 will take just as long. The math proves that this is simply not true. Getting from 100,000 to 200,000 takes much less time. The snowball is getting bigger and picking up more snow with every single rotation. The time between each milestone starts to compress as you move forward. Now let us talk about the second major tipping point. This happens when you reach $650,000. This is the point where your relationship with work and risk changes forever. At $650,000, your portfolio generates $45,000 a year. That number is very close to the median household income for many people. Think about what that actually means for your daily life. Your investment portfolio is now producing an income stream that rivals a full-time job. You are not fully independent yet, but you have entered the territory of having options. Having options fundamentally changes how you interact with the world around you. A bad day at the office is no longer a life or death catastrophe. Starting a small business or pursuing a hobby becomes a realistic possibility. The power dynamic between you and your employer shifts in your favor. This is also where the math starts to feel truly unfair to anyone watching from the outside. Remember how it took nearly a decade to reach that first $100,000. At this stage, your portfolio is growing by $100,000 every 2 years. You are adding massive chunks to your net worth, faster than you can even spend them. This acceleration happens because your base is finally large enough to matter. Market crashes that used to terrify you now start to look like opportunities. When you have a large portfolio and you are still contributing, a crash is just a sale. You are buying more shares at a discount while your current assets wait for recovery. The people who build true wealth are the ones who understand this paradox. They do not panic when the numbers go down temporarily. They know that the history of the market is a history of constant recovery. Now, let us look at the third and final tipping point. This is the legendary $1 million threshold. Crossing into seven-figure territory is a psychological breakthrough. At $1 million, a 7% return gives you $70,000 a year. Your money is now earning more than the average American household earns by working. It is doing this passively and relentlessly while you enjoy your life. But this is where the exponential curve truly goes vertical. In our example, getting to the first million took nearly 30 years. But getting from 1 million to 1.5 million takes only 6 more years. You add 50% to your net worth in a fraction of the time it took to start. Going from 1.5 million to 2 million takes only 5 more years. By the time you reach this level, the math is doing all of the work for you. Each additional million becomes progressively easier and faster to achieve. This is not because you are working harder or saving more money. It is because the base you are compounding from is finally enormous. There is a famous story about an advisor showing a young client this chart. The client said he did not want to wait until he was 65 to be rich. The advisor replied that the client would be 65 years old either way. The only question is whether the client wants to be 65 and rich or 65 and broke. Understanding this psychology is what separates the wealthy from the rest. Our brains evolved to prioritize immediate rewards and immediate threats. Investing $500 for a reward 30 years away feels unnatural. Upgrading your car or buying a new house gives you an immediate hit of dopamine. The investment account provides no immediate social validation or sensory pleasure. This is why our culture celebrates the wrong financial behaviors. We celebrate the person who spends their raise on a luxury lifestyle. We do not celebrate the invisible millionaire driving the 10-year-old sedan. But the person with the old car is the one who truly owns their time. Wealth is essentially what you do not see. It is the money you did not spend on things that depreciate in value. It is the freedoms sitting in your accounts compounding while you sleep. Getting wealthy requires you to delay gratification in a world designed to make you spend. The entire economy is optimized to separate you from your money right now. Social media makes you feel inadequate unless you are consuming. Advertising is designed by experts to trigger your deepest insecurities. You must develop the psychological strength to resist these constant pressures. One of the silent killers of wealth is lifestyle inflation. When you get a raise, your brain immediately plans how to spend that extra cash. Within a few months, your new higher salary feels just as tight as the old one. The people who actually build wealth do something very different. They take the raise and immediately automate the extra money into their investments. They never give their lifestyle a chance to expand and swallow their progress. Automation is the most important tool you have in this battle. Willpower is a finite resource that runs out by the end of every day. If you have to choose to invest every month, you will eventually fail. But if the money is gone before you can think about it, success becomes inevitable. Treat your investment contributions like a non-negotiable bill. It is the most important bill you will ever pay because you are paying your future self. If you feel like you do not have enough money to start, do not be discouraged. Start with whatever small amount you can manage right now. Even $50 a month establishes the habit and the behavioral pattern. The person who starts small is much more likely to scale up later. Building wealth is not about being lucky or being a genius. It is about being consistent and understanding the physics of time. The math doesn't care about your intentions or your background. The math only cares about the time you give it to work. At the $100,000 mark, you prove to yourself that it is possible. At the $650,000 mark, you gain the power of choice. At the $1 million mark, you enter the realm of true financial freedom. The money is just a byproduct of the person you become along the way. You become someone who can resist social pressure and think long-term. You become someone who values freedom over status symbols. That internal transformation is the real prize of this journey. The system is simple, but that does not mean it is easy to execute. It requires you to watch your friends buy new things while you stay the course. It requires you to stay calm during market crashes when everyone else is panicking. But if you can maintain the behavior long enough, the math will take care of the rest. You now know where the tipping points are located. You know that the first stage is the hardest psychological climb you will ever face. Do not let the slow start convince you to give up on your future. Stay in the game long enough for the magic to finally happen. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Keep your eyes on the curve and keep moving forward.